Have we gone live?
Hello, everybody. How's it going? So let's check first of all. Do we have audio, guys? Can you guys hear us?
Are you on are you on the main
Yes.
one that's
We,
facing
we
me?
are
I
live
think that's
now.
probably
Eric,
best. Okay,
we're live, yeah?
cool. How come I can't see it on YouTube?
All right. Just 1 second. It takes a bit of time until this to
Okay.
be seen. We actually right now, guys. Can you guys hear
There we go.
us?
Nice.
Once,
Yeah, there is a bit of a lag on YouTube, but it's fine.
yeah.
I won't look
I
at
can
it
he- I
until
can
after.
hear myself double, guys. Just mute something, please.
All right, Mike.
All right. How's it going,
Welcome to the
guys?
DragonX. Welcome to the DragonX experience, Mike.
I can hear myself double. Can you turn it off or something? I don't know. I think, sorry, it was my end. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. We were trying to fix some audio issues. I think this is all fixed now, and we better get started. I think, guys, are waiting. 96 people alive, so I'm excited
Hello.
to be here.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Eric. How's it going?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm really excited today. So before we get started, actually, I'm gonna start sharing my screen because, as you guys know, this is how I normally like to do my interviews. I share my screen, and then we're gonna go through this whole process. But first of all, I want to say, Eric, you're in a very beautiful studio right there. It's like I'm jealous.
Mike, you just got to come up and join me in the studio. Why
Uh,
don't you
I
come up,
will-
man?
I'm gonna do that, but at some
Where'd you
point.
say you were again? Where did you
Yeah,
say you
don't
were
worry
again,
about
Mike?
that. Let me start to share my screen and then we can go for that. So, guys, can you guys hear me? I actually sent out a tweet that I'm now live. So, more and more people are joining. This is great. 114 people are live right now. Hi, everyone. Don't forget, please like and subscribe. Spank that YouTube algorithm. That's what I like to say.
Spank it.
So, yeah. So, I'm going to start sharing my screen right now and then we get started. So there we have it, guys. Let me just fix this.
Hey, Lil Cryptita. Hey, DTM Trading. Hey,
Yeah.
Rokanos. Hey, Crypto Jacked.
Hey,
Hey, Dusty
Marv.
Frets.
That's
Hey,
great. That's
Clinton.
great.
Hey,
Eric, so
Memo.
you can
What's up?
see the screen right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, lovely.
But
So
actually, there's a delay. I'm going to go into TLD draw and follow you.
all right, no problem.
Yeah.
I think it's much better if you do so.
Okay.
So, guys, we're sorry we're a bit late. We're fixing some audio issues. Eric had some issues there with his audio
My
in
fault.
the. Yeah, but anyway, guys, so hello and welcome everyone. I'm happy you're with us today. So this is my second interview I ever do, so please write any comments below for me to improve. And I think Eric, he just told me this is actually his first interview, so that's definitely
First
going to
interview.
be fun. So it's my second one and it's going to be his first one. But before we dive deep into our conversation, I want to remind you guys to check out the DragonX team on social media. You can scan the QR code of DragonX Twitter here or in Telegram, so you can stay updated and ask questions. And now it's time to join me. Welcome, Erik, the founder of DragonX, the first project to launch on TitanX on the 18th of January. Is that correct? On the 18th, actually.
We're shooting for the 18th. I can
Lovely.
get more into the audits and how that might impact the deadline as we proceed.
All right, lovely. So Erik, just before we get started, I think you might know my style of interviewing in some ways. So let me just show you today what I basically came up with. So the general agenda is going to be, we're going to have three sections, right? And the first section is going to be more introduction about you, Erik, and then also the
Yep.
DragonX team. And then the second section is going to be like, what is DragonX? What is the value proposition for DragonX? And what is the value proposition for TitanX? And then the last section, we're going to go about DragonX security and also probably some of the user concerns which have been coming in. So let's
FUD.
get started.
We'll address the FUD.
Yeah, we're gonna have to address the FUD. So that's on the last section, right?
Yep.
So Erik, so probably before we get started here, introduction about you and probably your team. I would like to probably give me a quick overview. Like, when did you get into crypto? What do you do? How did you get to TitanX? And maybe also what made you choose to build on TitanX instead of something else? and probably
Yeah.
also introduce yourself, the team you're working with, and what other projects maybe your team has have built before.
Okay, that's a lot. Let's start with my background. So yeah, I'm a software engineer. Software engineer by training. I've been a software engineer for 7 years. Been in crypto since 2015. Um, yeah, I remember when Ethereum came out, and like it was the Ethereum ICO, and people were running around my office talking about Ethereum launching, and I knew nothing about crypto at that time, and I just started to buy a little bit of Ethereum, and it went up a lot. Like it went up. I think I made like 20 grand, which was great at the time. And I was super happy, and that was kind of like my introduction to crypto. I didn't make life-changing money or anything like that. Um, and after that, I just got interested. I DCA'd into the majors, and I basically just continued to learn more and more about crypto throughout the 2017 cycle. Um, Again, like I wasn't super deep into it at that time because I just was buying things and I was learning about projects, but I wasn't really using my software skills to like apply that to crypto. That was my big mistake in 2017. This all could have happened years ago. um, but fast forward to 2020, 2019. Actually, I was in lockdown, as we all were, and that's when I got into crypto again. And that's when I found Richard Hart in the early days of Hex, and I knew I'd found the right guy. I knew I found the right ecosystem, um, and I'd worked in tech startups throughout my career, so I understood talent, and I understood that these VCs, like I've worked in some small venture-backed companies, like five guys around a table type thing with like, the VCs give us money. We have like five guys around a table, all really smart, and we're just trying to build something. And so I understood the VC idea, which is you back teams. You don't back projects. You don't back ideas. You back teams. And I always kind of focused on that in crypto as well. That's why I was drawn to Jake. That's why I was drawn to Richard Hart. Um, So I knew that the person behind any project is really what makes it a success, and so that's kind of how I honed in on Richard. I think the first term I ever saw Richard Hart was him and Roger Ver doing the debate. That was like an epic video that just I think got a lot of people into crypto. Um, and so then I basically took the Hex journey, 555 stakes. You know, saw my portfolio explode up. Wasn't able
Quattro
to
Cinco.
sell. Quattro Cinco. Um, I learned a lot of lessons about staking there, guys. So maybe that will help you understand why I was so fast to think about building DragonX, right? But that's a little bit about me and how I got into crypto. And then, like I said, I find smart people. That's one thing I'm good at. So I knew Jake. I've known Jake for over a year. I think it was like, yeah, more than a year ago that we first talked on it. We had a video call. He was booting up his mastermind at the time, and I'd seen some of his videos. I knew he was a smart guy. I got a sense that this guy's going to build something. This guy's going to build something big. Actually, I remember his introductory YouTube video. He said, "Hey, I'm Jake, and I might be building in the future." And I thought, this guy's going to build something. I better follow him. Um, so I have pretty good pattern matching when it comes to talented people, and ever since then I've been hanging out. Got to know Jake a little bit through his mastermind calls, and yeah, that's how I was early in Titan as well. Guys, your network is what gets you in early on projects. So when a founder says he has a mastermind, or a very talented person say they have a mastermind or a group, do not FUD it. Maybe it's a bunch of smart people. Maybe it's just a bunch of smart people who know that their time and effort is worth money to listen to them. Guys, it's a recurring theme.
All right. Yeah, good. Good. So probably, just to jump on that one as well, is like, what made you choose to build on TitanX instead of something else, let's say?
Yeah, I think it was like I said, Jake. I think what I love about TitanX is that it has a ethos of supporting builders. Like it's what I like to say is like, you know, in 2020 it was give everything to Richard, he will save us. You know, later on it was give nothing to Jack, he will save us. And now it's we're the community, we're going to save ourselves. and we think it's fair that devs are adequately compensated for building incredible things on our protocol, right? We don't really have a maximalism in the same way, because it doesn't make sense, guys. Like okay, you can be a TitanX ecosystem maximalist, but we're all working together to burn TitanX, right? And that's what I really love about TitanX. It's the ethos that distinguishes us from other cryptos. That ethos of professionalism, of building, of making this something that is big, and making TitanX into a platform that is really compelling to builders. And it's going to make a huge difference in the bull run. Huge.
Interesting. Good to hear. So, I mean, it's not only you on the team. So, probably could you tell us a bit more about the team you're working with, or how many people are you guys, and what kind of background are you guys working on?
Yeah, so it's really me and two other guys, devs, and really it's primarily me and one other guy. But we have worked on a couple of crypto projects together. The one that I'm publicly mentioning is Genie Swap. That was our last project, and this developer who I had the pleasure of meeting before this project is absolutely brilliant guy. He's choosing not to show his face and release things, and that's totally fine. All our code is audited. All our code will be public on the blockchain. We have the same auditors as TitanX. So I'm the face of the project. I invented the concept. I thought through the tokenomics. That was me. And our god tier dev team is in the background doing what they do best. And again, like, I'll just talk a little bit more about the team. Like, you guys have to understand, these guys they can contract out for thousands of dollars a day. The speed with which we can move is incredible, because we're good friends. We've known each other from prior projects. We know our weaknesses. We know our strengths. We don't take breaks. Like, we're constantly in communication. There is no like weekend. There is no holiday. Just to give you an idea of how unique our team is, like the front end developer and the contract developer, they are brothers. They're brothers. They sit next to each other. Okay, they're super tight. Like, you cannot replicate this. Like, which is why I'm so excited. Like, because this is what allowed us to build DragonX, and it allowed us to have the first mover advantage. You know, and that's what's great about us. Like, we were able to build this protocol, and the share rate is only going down, right? So it's going to be impossible to compete with DragonX, because we're going to be the ones that have the stakes first.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. I mean, so regarding the other two guys, you said they are brothers. So there's a front end guy, and then there's a Solidity developer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's definitely very interesting. Do you guys also do contract work as well, or just on a side note here?
No.
All
But
right.
I'll
No
make an
worries.
exception for you, Mike. I'll make an exception for you.
No worries, man. I'm not even thinking about that yet. But anyway, I think this is definitely interesting. So
My
I
DMs
think
are open, Mike.
Thanks for that. But yeah, well, let's probably just go on to the next section. I think I got a bit of introduction about you, where you're coming from. 2015 class crypto, Ethereum got launched. Vitalik was there. By the way, I think they launched it. Vitalik at the time, I think they launched it in Berlin for, yeah, like very interesting for sure. So that's we're gonna jump now to the next section, and that's we're gonna check out now. I'm gonna share my screen so that we see everything, so you guys can hopefully see. So we got the introduction with Erik and his team. Now we're gonna go to the second section here, which is DragonX. So let's get started here a little bit. First,
Here we go.
yeah, let's get started here. So let's first understand what is DragonX, right? I'm gonna do, I don't know. I don't think this is, no, I think this is just better. Hopefully you guys can see. If you cannot see clearly, I'm gonna try to make it as big as possible. So I've drawn some few illustration here, how I understood the white paper. So we're gonna go through it step by step. And the first step right here is you, the user, with your MetaMask. I've just written here, you're going to send TitanX to the DragonX smart contract, and you're going to receive DragonX. So is that correct? How do I
Well,
get DragonX? Yes.
the first step is deploying the contracts. I don't know if you want to go over that.
I think we're gonna go through that on the timeline when we.
Okay.
I've drawn a timeline, so we're gonna go through that one. But first of
Yeah.
all, just in general, how DragonX functions, I want to go through that. So, for instance, here I've just written that the user is gonna connect to your front end, and they're gonna click a certain button, and then TitanX will be sent to the DragonX smart contract, and then they're going to get DragonX direct. So first the question is like, is the DragonX locked?
Yeah. First of all, guys, DragonX.win. Do not chase random links. Like, just make sure that you are on the right site. Confirm it with the socials. Confirm it with Telegram groups.
Is that
Like,
the correct site?
DragonX.win. That is correct. That is correct.
Right.
But I just want to make sure people don't get sucked in, because I bet there's going to be a bunch of sharks who are going to come in and throw links around and try to divert you. So make sure that you're on the right site, please. Double check. That is correct. So basically, after the LP is bootstrapped, what's going to happen is people will connect, and actually we can go over to this UI here.
Yeah, probably this is the easiest.
Yeah, this is basically what it's going to be at first, guys. Like, we weren't really innovating on the front end. I think we're probably going to have some designers come in and like smoothen this out and make it a little more unique, maybe a little more polished. But I think the point is really to like do the flywheel, right? I think we're all in agreement of that. We want to get this flywheel going. So we just stuck with like pretty basic TitanX kind of theme. So basically people will come, they'll connect, and they will mint DragonX. So DragonX is an immutable set of contracts. It issues the DragonX token. The contracts issue it. We do not issue it. We're just the deployers. We're just the developers. It's open software. And what we do is, what the contract does is it just issues DragonX as an incentive to you, because what DragonX wants is to take in as much TitanX as possible. And we need a way to do that. We need an incentive for you guys to submit tokens to this contract, right? So that's the first step, exactly. Users will mint DragonX and send TitanX into the DragonX contracts, correct?
Okay. So that's probably the first step is like, the user connects to your site, and then they're going to send TitanX to the DragonX smart contract, and that DragonX smart contract will mint DragonX to that user.
Correct.
Okay. And so they get the DragonX straight away. It's not locked for a period of time or anything. They just get it straight away.
No locking, no staking.
All
Guys,
right.
it's your token. It's an incentive given by the contract.
Mhm.
If you choose to capitulate and sell too early, that is your fault. I'll tell you right now that I do not want delayed sell pressure on my token. If you're going to sell, get it out of the way, because that's how we go up.
Fantastic. So probably now let's just go to the next step. So just to recap, you mint your own tokens. Like, there is a smart contract in between. It's not a human being on the other hand who sends you. There's no centralized entity who sends you your tokens. It's a smart contract which mints your own token. You mint your own token. So let's now talk about the staking vault here. So
Yep.
one of the things I would like to ask you for sure. So one thing I would like just to mention, the distribution here regarding the TitanX. As you can see, the DragonX will send. This is just an illustration. How it is exactly in the smart contract maybe it's a bit different, but this is just an illustration. And so 92% of the TitanX is sent to the staking vault. And 8% of the TitanX which comes in goes to the Genesis. So what
Yes.
happens to the 92% of the TitanX when it comes to the staking vault? Probably that's going to be interesting for the people.
Yes. If you go back over to the stake Titan, if you go to the UI, you can see there.
Yes.
It says stake TitanX, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen is that's going to fill, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And when that hits 100 billion,
Mm-hmm.
the user callable function, it will be callable. and then you can initiate a max stake and receive a reward for doing that. So there are rewards for calling functions just like in TitanX, because we want the flywheel to be decentralized. Anyone should be incentivized to go in there and spin that flywheel. And so over time, mints will probably taper off. So after 7 days, if 100 billion TitanX has not been hit, then the contract will be callable. So either way, the contract is always callable. TitanX is not going to be stuck in the contract. It will be staked.
So I've just written down here. So probably this is going to be more beautiful, but this is a bit live here on the spot. But probably this is good for people to learn as well. So the user can call this function, create stake, and they get a 3% incentives for doing so. And it works. So it's either 100 billion or after 7 days. Is that correct,
Yes.
Erik? Okay.
Correct.
And the 7 days, the reason for that, I would guess, is because on the 8th day there's a payout.
No, it's just it's a general threshold, right? Because we don't want TitanX sitting around too long, because we want to get a good share rate, but we don't want to we don't want to lose the bigger pays better bonus if we can avoid it, right? So like
Gotcha.
we want to wait around a little bit amount of time so that we can get that longer pays bigger pays better. But if we can't get the bigger pays better in 7 days, then we're going for the stake.
Gotcha. All right. So I think this is rather clear. You can create this. We create the stake, and it's dependent on how many billions, or after 7 days. So now let's go to the staking mechanism. Now, I mean, all these stakes are going to be max stakes, so the maximum of 3,500 days, and then once. So probably the first question will be, when will the first stake be created?
After the first 100 billion is put in.
Okay. After the first 100 billion is put in, okay, or after 7 days, right? Same thing, right? Okay. And so now the next thing would be, let's just jump into the UI here. There is a thing which is called claim ETH. So could you go and tell us what this does and what this does?
Yeah. So if you go to TitanX, well, or you can just if you know the staking payouts, right? As a user who stakes, you can go in and claim your rewards, right? You claim your payout rewards from your portion of the share pool. That's what this is doing for the contract.
Okay. But okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So once that claim is called, the ETH is split. The ETH is split between Genesis, between buying TitanX off the market for later, and between buying and burning DragonX. So it gets distributed to those three parties, those three contracts, if that makes sense.
Okay.
That's what claim is doing all of that.
Okay, so I think what I've done here was I just said, okay, once this has been called, then the claim ETH in the payout cycles.
Yep.
8% goes to the Genesis.
Correct.
44.5 of the ETH goes to the TitanX Buy Vault, and the other 44.5% ETH goes to the Buy and Burn for DragonX.
Correct.
Okay, so I think this is also just important for people to know before we jump into the LP here, because this is quite interesting, and I want to explain people a little bit more how it works. But you could explain a bit better. But I just want to ease them in a little bit how this works. So now probably let's just talk first about the TitanX Buy Vault, and this is the section here. So we can see the section here. It has the total TitanX bought, the total ETH in the vault, in the TitanX Buy Vault, ETH for the next buy. So I'm guessing there's a threshold when this can be called, and then there's an incentive fee, the normal 3%, I guess, right? Go ahead and explain the Buy TitanX Vault, Erik.
Yeah, so the vault will it's accepting that 44.5%, and the amount of ETH that's able to be used to buy TitanX, and what's the word? I'm blanking. It's the time duration between when you can call that function that's changed. That can be changed by Genesis. It's just the same way as TitanX can be changed.
Okay, so it's like
So
time
there are
restricted
intervals. Yeah, I meant the word I
interval.
wanted to say is time interval. The time interval and the size of the Ethereum buy are determined by Genesis.
All right. So
But
this
it's the
is
same exact thing as the BNB. That's your BNB V3 right there, guys. That's
okay.
your BNB V3. Like the TitanX goes in there, the Ethereum goes in there, and it gets swapped directly for TitanX, which brings it into the contract. And it brings it into the contract, and then when you call stake up above on the top right,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's the TitanX that gets staked, right? Once the launch phase is over, of course. But that's how the cycle perpetuates.
Okay, but you're saying once the launch phase is over, how does the launch phase affect that? Can you not create any TitanX stakes if the launch phase is on, or am I
No,
misunderstanding something?
the stakes start right away.
Ah,
Yep,
okay, okay,
stakes start right away.
okay. So probably here regarding the TitanX buy vault here, I'm gonna explain a little bit about regarding the liquidity pool here. We have two liquidity pools, right? And the liquidity pool on this side here is let me just do this so that I think it's a bit easier. So this liquidity pool here, this is the original liquidity pool, which is on the TitanX web pool.
Yep.
This is the original one, and this is the 1% fee tier pool. So when the TitanX the TitanX buy vault, basically it has the ETH which came from the max stakes, the claimed ETH, and then
Yep.
these ETH gets used basically to buy the TitanX from this liquidity pool, and then that TitanX which has been bought gets sent to the staking pool, which is up here.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think this
Correct.
is probably clear now. This is the buy and burn V3.
Basically.
Is that
Although, I mean, they will both buy and burn TitanX, but one of them puts it in the liquidity pool, the other one puts it actually locked in the contract, if that makes sense. But yes, this is your V3 right here.
okay. So one of the thing is also probably for people to just notice is like essentially DragonX, it doesn't burn TitanX, but it locks. But the effect is pretty much the same because it's not in circulation. Is that correct?
It can never be removed. The only thing you can do with it is restake it after 3,500 days. So it's locked forever in the contract. There's no way of removing it. There's no way of burning those stakes for hyper. This is totally separate. So that's it for that TitanX. It can never be sold again.
Interesting. So, that's also one of the questions which I wanted to give you later on, but I think you just answered it. It
Yeah.
cannot be it cannot be burned for hyper or anything like that, right?
Nope.
Okay, that's interesting. So probably just since we are right at that question is can you build on top of TitanX? Of DragonX, sorry.
I don't know. Why don't you ask Jake? Didn't you see him in the chat in the DragonX chat? He's a tease though. He's a tease. Like I don't know if he's really gonna do it, but
Okay.
I think he's really impressed with our work. So I do appreciate that. Like it means a lot. Actually, it's a huge compliment. But yeah, so I mean that's one of the at the end of the I did the white paper video. I don't know if you guys saw the Easter egg at the very end. You had to watch it to the end, which apparently Jake did because he asked me, "Hey, you mentioned at the end that wouldn't it be cool if other things were built that use the DragonX Buy and Burn vault? Wouldn't that be cool?" And
That's
he got it right away, and he was like, "Damn, this is amazing," and that's a huge compliment coming from Jake, by the way. So yeah, you can use it for other stuff, guys. If you want to build on top of the DragonX vault, you're basically helping compound this snowball, you know. And I think it would be cool I think we will probably launch something else if all goes well, of course.
Mhm.
No expectations, and let's see how it goes, right? I think we're all going to see how it goes, but like if it goes well, I think I would like to launch another token on top to continue that flywheel. And I think I hope other people will use the burn vault as a way to compound the amount of miner rewards that are going back into TitanX, because it's a great way to do that. And you don't have to pay all the money and for all the auditors or anything like that. You can just use the already audited code.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I mean, I did see your video. Well, I have to say, I was at the gym, and the music in the video was a bit of distracting. So that's why I asked you to send me that video without without background music, so I can post it on my YouTube. So I think
Sorry, man. Sorry.
it's
I'll
all
get that
good.
to you.
We're all here to learn. No worries, man. So
Yeah.
one thing I would like to talk about is the liquidity pool. So probably
Mhm.
I would like to explain how the liquidity pool of TitanX Weth was created. So initially, the TitanX liquidity pool was bootstrapped. And the way it was bootstrapped, as far as I understood, looking at the code, was the ETH of the first miners got collected. I think it was around 8 ETH was collected. Then the function initially create initial liquidity pool was called. And
Mhm.
then that function minted 100 million TitanX tokens. And together with that 8 ETH, the pool was created. And the
Yep.
owner of that pool is the Buy and Burn V1, the Buy and Burn of TitanX V1. And that way, they were able, like the way they've done it is such a way that they can now collect the fees, the Uniswap fees, basically, and then they
Mhm.
just burn those fees. So that's how TitanX was initially bootstrapped. How does DragonX how will they do it?
Yeah, a good question. This is actually something that's different, but honestly, I don't know why we didn't just do the exact same thing. But the way we're doing it is pretty simple. So my guess is that our dev did it this way for simplicity. But basically, the Titan X will be pulled from Genesis. So and then the Dragon X will be minted into that initial pool, and it will still be owned and locked by the contract. But the difference is that rather than it coming from miners at first, it's going to be coming from Genesis, the Titan X.
Okay.
That doesn't change any permissions. The permissions are the same as Titan X. So the pool is owned by Titan X, by the DragonX contracts, excuse me,
Mhm.
and the LP fees that are denominated in DragonX, those get burned.
Mhm.
The LP fees that are denominated in TitanX, they get sent back to the DragonX vault to be restaked. So there's no waste.
Interesting.
Everything goes
Interesting.
back into the vault.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you for that, man. I think
Yeah.
that's definitely very clear now how that works. So now, what I want to go and explain, I want a bit of explanation of the buy and burn here of DragonX, because this is a bit more interesting. Why there is a lot of things happening here. I mean, there's definitely two more actions happening than on TitanX. I mean, as if we can go here to the buy and burn, please just explain how this works. I mean, I've drawn some lines here, which is it's going
Yeah,
to
let's
be
see.
buying first TitanX, and then we got the DragonX, and then the burn part. Um, is
Yeah.
this the way I understood it? Like, this is the white paper. This is how I understood it. Could you probably go in and explain this?
Yep, that looks right. Yeah, so basically the 44.5% that goes to DragonX Buy and Burn Vault, it has the same kind of calling functionality that the other contract has. So what's going to happen is that Buy and Burn is going to go to the Titan wrapped Ethereum pool, just like you're showing there. Then it's going to take that Titan X. It's going to swap it into the liquidity pool. Okay, so this is the double burn that Jake wants. And by the way, if you're building something, build it this way. And if you don't understand and you're a builder, reach out to someone, reach out to Jake, reach out to the mods in the Titan X chat and understand this because it's important, because it's an opportunity to burn more Titan X. So basically, what happens is the Titan X gets swapped into DragonX in that locked pool. So it pushes the price of DragonX up against TitanX, but the TitanX never gets burned. The TitanX can never be sold because the contract put it in there, right? So the contract is never going to sell it. So you're just piling up this TitanX in there, if that makes sense.
Got you. Got you.
That's
But
what
I
I'm trying to
mean,
get across. It's basically like a burn because it's just thrown into that pool.
okay. But if somebody comes and buy DragonX, they do get TitanX back, right? I mean,
Yeah, if you had a whale just come and dump, he could pull TitanX out of there, but the contract itself can't pull things out of there, right? So it's a constant. There's a constant release of supply into that pool that the contract will never take out. So
gotcha.
it's still probably going to be an overall burn, I would say, because there'll always be some TitanX in there.
Well, interesting. And then here, probably regarding the burn part, I think could be also interesting. I think you haven't gone through this yet.
Yeah, this is just a straight burn of DragonX. Like I think we're just going to be sending it to null, and
Gotcha.
then it's gone. So that's
All right.
kind of why you would probably hold DragonX, is like this system is just compounding, and ideally, if TitanX continues to be adopted, there's going to be many payouts to come. So the system will continue to compound and get more and more of those rewards, and then a good chunk of that is going to DragonX. So that's a reason to participate, and that's a reason to hold your DragonX.
All right. Yeah, I think that's one of the value proposition of DragonX is definitely that whatever is created, there's gonna be a burn of it as well. And the burning is also dependent on how the payout is gonna be. So if TitanX start grow, DragonX will also grow in some ways.
Yeah, exactly. Having some mic issues. Yeah. So obviously, DragonX is a derivative on TitanX adoption, right? Like it can't really exist without the success of TitanX. Like it's definitely highly connected. The benefit of holding DragonX is you're using the same burning mechanism that TitanX is using, but you're using it on a deflationary token. So think about how great that is for DragonX holders. Like that's a good reason to participate in the contract.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, guys, hopefully you understood it a little bit better now. But I mean, like, I think in the UI is very simple in some ways because you have here, you can mint your DragonX. You can start the stake if 100 billion are in the vault or after 7 days. And all the other actions are pretty much here. I think this is very straightforward. So probably now what we're gonna do now is like we're gonna jump a bit on the timeline here, right? And the timeline is the launch has been set to the 18th of January 2024. Is that still correct?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So
Do
probably
you want me
this.
to get into the audits right now, or do you want to?
No, the audits we're gonna
Okay.
come a bit later. I mean, you can still mention like maybe why would this date maybe change for whatever.
It's dependent on the audits. Like we're not going to launch if we feel like the audits did not catch everything, and we're using Jake's ethos here. Well, first of all, we're using Jake's auditors, who are fantastic. Sorry, I shouldn't say Jake's auditors. They were the TitanX auditors, and these auditors are really good. So after they're done, then we gave it to Hacken, and Hacken hasn't really found anything, which is a good sign. It means that these guys probably caught everything, right? And we have one of those auditors on a PPV right now, paper vulnerability, and we said, look, just keep hunting until launch day, like keep hunting until we deploy the contract. So if something comes up, obviously we delay launch. If we feel like Hacken is finding too much, or if they even find one vulnerability that would compromise the system, then I think we'll probably push the launch. Like I don't want to feel like we're launching. We're not. If we miss a payout, it's not the end of the world, right? Because think of it this way: if those pools don't fill up again, then that means no one's mining TitanX and adoption has completely died, right? So we're all expecting those miners to come back in, and we're expecting to have a lot more in those pools over time. So there shouldn't really be a reason to rush for those pools. And I'm conscious of that. Like I'm conscious of the pressure to get that to get that Ethereum pointed toward the TitanX chart, and not into just people's pockets to take to other projects, right? But at the same time, if I feel like the auditors are discovering things that may compromise the platform, then we need to hit the brakes and we need to do another round of audits.
All right. Eric, I think that's pretty much clear, guys. I'm seeing we are 256 people on the live. This is absolutely amazing. Don't forget to like and spank that YouTube algorithm. Go ham on that like button. So, Eric, first, what I would like to probably explain a little bit about the ratio here, because I can see the first 14 days. I think this was changed. It was first 7 days, but now it's 14 days. So probably why the change, and also explaining the ratio.
The ratio is just 1-to-1 for 2 weeks. Why are we keeping it 1-to-1? Because we want people to arbitrage. We want that buy and burn to hit the DragonX price, right? And then we want DragonX to go up, and we want people to go in, use their TitanX to mint DragonX, sell it down to the 1-to-1, and so on. And we want that variation in the pair. We want people to play the ARB, right? And if people play the ARB, then they're putting more TitanX into DragonX over that period. So imagine if there were some whales who just used their money to just cycle through and create an arbitrage and just cycle a ton of TitanX into the contract before things closed. We want to give them the time to do that. We also want to give a little bit of marketing ramp up. Like, I haven't even streamed with cryptographics or kindness yet. It takes a while for organic content to get out there. There's 1,200 in the Telegram, which blows my mind. Why are there only 1,200 in the Telegram? Like, because there's almost 9,000 in the main chat. So I think we have work to do to get people interested in this. I don't know why other people, honestly, don't know why other people from TitanX aren't interested in it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So I think we need to do more communication. And we've been heads down building, but like, I'm going to be more active on Twitter, and we want to get the word out, guys. So I would like to see the chat grow, and this gives us some time to grow the chat, you know?
Fantastic, Eric. I mean, we had yesterday space, and a lot of people were saying that, hey, you guys are not on Twitter, you're not doing any marketing, like people asking questions on Twitter and they don't get the answers and stuff like that. I mean, what would you say to those people?
Yeah, I don't work for you guys. I'm trying to build something here. It's really busy. But that being said, like, we're going to try to be more active. Yeah, like I said, there's 3 of us. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay. No, I think also one of the things I mentioned yesterday in the space as well is like, I used to be a firmware engineer, and we used to, well, like, write code for satellites, basically, right? And and then you have to do a lot of testing and a lot of pressure. And once that code has been put into the rocket and it's been sent to the space, you cannot recall that. And Solidity code, and it's very similar like that. Once that thing is deployed and that ETH is there vulnerable, hackers can come and take that. So there is a lot of pressure for that. So that's one of the things I said, to just give you a bit of benefit of the doubt. I don't know you, but I just wanted to chime in as a software engineer.
I appreciate that. And actually, you might be interested to know that our lead dev was a firmware engineer. He worked in automotive. So yeah, you should try your hand at Solidity, man. Do you try Solidity? Have you tried to build things?
I've built some stuff, but this was like very like pretty much only like bots, arbitrage bots. So it was just very simple things. It's just time, man. That's the issue. I think we all have that issue, right? Time. How do you allocate your time the best? And I think right now it's just me trying to learn Solidity. I think I can learn it fairly quickly. The only reason probably Solidity is more regarding security vulnerabilities. That's the bigger issue. But anyhow,
yeah.
So let's give.
Actually, on that point, I mean, yeah, like that's a good point. Like, I mean, I'm a software developer, and I don't even try to do this stuff, right? Like, this is people's money, you know. Like, you want people who have done this before. You want people who have years of experience in it, and it's really important to have a good team that really knows this stuff because of that exact reason. But sorry to interrupt you.
No worries, no worries. I think one of the things also people are talking about is I'm just gonna have some few questions here to just mix things up a little bit. Dibash is saying to get it to the mark, so to get it to be marketed more, the pitch has to become simpler. So
True.
Erik, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Please give me a elevator pitch for DragonX.
I think one that's actually stuck really good in the last few days is that we are the buy and burn V3. DragonX is the buy and burn V3.
All right.
That's one pitch. The other pitch is DragonX is a benevolent whale that stakes, buys, and never sells. That's two that I'm putting out there. I'm
Nice.
very open to other communications, guys. Like I don't consider this to be my strong suit, but I'm noticing a lot of people are latching on to the idea that this is buy and burn V3. I love that because we're going to be taking in a ton more Ethereum, right? That's the goal, is to turn this into our buy and burn V3.
Gotcha. So I'm just gonna do like some more few questions here from the users to just mix things up a little bit, and then we can continue with everything else. So I have a question here from Nash, and he's saying this project is entirely reliant on rewards of TitanX staking to increase its value. What happens if the TitanX staking reward pool dries out due to insufficient miners?
Well, then the miner ROI should go up because there'll be less supply, and the buy and burn will act more effectively on the supply of TitanX. And when the TitanX supply goes up, the miner ROI goes up, which brings more miners in.
Gotcha. We're just gonna jump on the next one as well.
So yeah, this is not Nash. You can think of it like this. It's not, this system isn't independent of the adoption and success of TitanX. Like it's part of that. So if TitanX isn't succeeding, then yeah, there's a good chance that DragonX won't succeed. That's the reality. We're a derivative on another token.
Gotcha. And probably one of the things I would like to ask as well is regarding, is there a max supply for DragonX?
There is a max supply. No more. You're welcome, Nash. Thank you for the great question. No more DragonX will be minted after the launch phase is over. And there is a declining scale of rewards, which we'll show in that chart at some point. But like,
yeah, I think we can just jump into it.
Yeah, after that, it becomes deflationary. So like, it will be scarcer and scarcer over the course of the launch. And then it will be, you cannot get TitanX to the buying on market after, DragonX after buying on market after that.
Okay. So there is a theoretical max supply during the launch phase. So it's a moving target in some ways. So the max theoretical point would be if every supply which is going to be coming after launch of TitanX, if everybody participate in DragonX during the whole launch phase, that's definitely going to be the max supply of DragonX then, right? With the reduction.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the max supply. No more DragonX after that. That's it.
Okay.
Sorry, I was reading. Can we go on to Rich's comment? Because Rich has a good comment.
Rich, is that the 3%
Super chat? Yeah, the $5 chat.
Yeah. Rich, thanks for the $5. Amazing. I just learned the other day this is called super chat, so amazing for that. $5. Rich is saying 3% incentive sounds like a lot compared to TitanX 0.33% incentive for clicking the blue button. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's 3% of the Ethereum that will be in the next function call. So it's not of the total supply. It's only of the next function call. So that's why it's 3%. And yeah, this is what it is. It's a bit high, but it's also fine. It's only the Ethereum that's for the next buy and burn call. It's not the entire vault of Ethereum.
Okay. And potentially also maybe you're doing a bit more computational on the function than the normal TitanX. Is that correct? Or
yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure what our efficiency is in compared to, like, say, TitanX.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I
good
mean, the
question.
only reason why I'm saying that is because, for instance, on the buy and burn for your stuff, you have to do two things, let's say, right? The first buy of TitanX and then the second buy of DragonX. So those are like two swaps, let's say, and they could be gas. You would have to spend more gas for that, just on the function level, let's say.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
could be the case, but I don't think that would. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the reason. I think we just went for a larger one because it's a chunk of a smaller amount of ETH,
all
basically.
right. Fair enough. So probably here, I think we haven't finished this one here yet. So the launch phase is going to be 12 weeks. The first 2 weeks, you're going to get one-to-one. So if you send in, let's say, I don't know, 100 TitanX, you're going to receive 100 DragonX. And then it just goes down the list, basically. At some point, week 4, like week 3, you send, for example, 100, you get 95 DragonX back. And then it goes all the way down until is on week 12, it's going to be half of it. That's correct, right?
That's correct.
Fantastic. So probably one of the things which I would like to do is to just compute the maximum theoretical amount of DragonX which is going to come out, and I think that's fairly easy to compute because we know exactly when the miner ends, and we know the ratio of this. So probably in the upcoming days and weeks, I might do a little bit of calculating and come out with that. I find that quite interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Definitely interesting.
Yeah. So let's probably just get back. I mean, is there anything on you see any interesting questions here?
Let me go back to the.
Yeah. Erik is cool.
People won't be in past week 7. We'll see about that bug.
Okay.
I happen to know some people who are interested in cycling a ton of TitanX through our contract. What else we got here?
So I have
Why
one
would
question up here, Erik. You can start the other ones if they're interesting, and then I can just pull them up. So we have a question from Shell here, and they are asking how much TitanX and how much DragonX will be used to create the initial liquidity pool by the Genesis.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like, so the way we were thinking of it is we want a lot of price appreciation on DragonX. We want the contract to produce a lot of price appreciation, I should say. We are not in control of the price appreciation, obviously. So I was thinking that it would make sense to help the contract do that by keeping the liquidity pool small. And small to me would be the size of roughly an 8-day payout.
Okay.
But that's to be determined.
Gotcha. That's definitely interesting. We're gonna find out. So okay, the initial ratio, if you know, I don't know if that's not known, that's okay. Is it gonna be 1-to-1 on the ratio straight away on the liquidity pool level?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's okay. That's definitely very interesting, guys. The initial liquidity pool is gonna be pretty much same to TitanX, let's say, the ratio wise. So
Yes.
that's definitely gonna be interesting. Here, Raman is asking any idea what could be the estimated total supplies after launch phase is over. I just answered that one. Hopefully, in the upcoming weeks, I can give you some values which I computed. So one of the questions is here: why would people want to ape in on day 1 instead of day 14? Is it because the ARB starts with 28-day burn on day 1? Do
Yep.
you understand that, Erik?
The answer is yes.
Okay, the
ARP
answer is
starts immediately. As
Mhm.
soon as staking rewards start to come out, the ARB starts.
Okay.
So you don't really need to have too short a period. And like I said, we want people to get in. Like the goal is not to. This isn't a car. We're not used car salesmen here. Like this is supposed to be a major utility in TitanX. We want people the time to get in. I think 2 weeks is fine. You can think it through. You're interacting with a piece of code on the blockchain. You're not interacting with our team. You decide if you want to take the risk, and then you get in. And there's 2 weeks to do it, and then the rate starts to go down.
Fantastic. Um, Anil is saying, can we mint DragonX after 12 week? The answer is no. I
The
think
answer
we
is
went
no.
through that. Yeah. Mm. So probably this is just interesting. I think he's just repeating what you just said earlier. DragonX, the benevolent whale that stakes, buys, burns, and never sells. Okay, awesome. I think this is pretty much it. Yeah, I think all the interesting questions for now are definitely, yeah, we went through those. So maybe here, let's just go through this timeline a little bit here. So initially, I just said that the launch is going to be on the 18th of January. Why did you pick the 18th of January?
Well, we want to be in time for the payouts if we can. Of course, security is number one, but we want to be in time for the payouts. So the sooner we can get it launched, the better, right? So our
Fantastic.
original day was going to be the 16th,
Mm-hmm.
but we wanted to give Hacken time to finish. They were originally going to finish a little bit earlier for us, but they decided they wanted more time, which is fine. So we just pushed it up. And the contracts actually need to be deployed the day before, and then on midnight UTC, they'll become active. So Hacken's going to finish, then we're going to have one day. We deploy the contracts. Midnight UTC the next day, it goes live.
Okay. Well, interesting. By the way, you're saying Hacken team. What is that actually? Is that a team? They do audits, or what's up with that?
That's an auditing firm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
We've had
probably.
good experiences.
Sorry, second.
We've had good experiences with them so far.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So, guys, the launch is on the 18th of January. And then, obviously, the reason why the launch was picked, because we can see here, I've just marked some of these payouts days here. And day 84 is the 19th of January, and that's the 28-day payout. Currently, yesterday, when I was making this timeline, there is 2.9 million in there, around 1,136 ETH. So, what do you think? How much of the percentage of ETH is the DragonX going to grab? Like, what? Do you have any expectations yet?
I don't know. I really don't. I have
Okay.
no idea.
Okay. Yeah. So definitely it would be very interesting to see what's going to happen, because let's say if that is just like, I don't know. I mean, 10% would be quite high, I think, but 20% it would mean that's 290. Yeah, 290,000, 290K, I think, right? If
I think we can do
if
20%, but I'm
20%,
being
you think?
confident. Yeah.
Crazy.
I
Okay.
mean, well, I mean, actually, people might not be fully committed yet because the launch phase is not, the 2 weeks haven't passed. So yeah, it might be less than that by then. But I
Okay.
really have no idea. Like I said, I'm just speculating that I think we can get to 20%.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm also just guesstimating here. So, but I thought maybe 10% would be rather high. But if you're going with 20%, well, that's around 600,000, pretty much.
Yeah.
And 600,000, that means half of that, like a bit less, but let's say half of that goes to Buy and Burn DragonX, and then half of that gets to go and buy TitanX of the market.
Well, technically, TitanX will be bought in both cases. So you're going to get a pump with the full amount.
With the full amount. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's even more interesting now. So, and then obviously day 84, and then we have day 88. I mean, that's the new 8-day payout. Obviously, there's not much in here yet, but I mean, it's just because today is actually payday, so
Yep.
that's why things haven't built up yet. And then, oh, this is the first 14 days is here, so it's 2 weeks actually. So yeah,
Okay.
the first 14 days. So this is, I did this yesterday, and it was only the first 7 days, so it goes a bit
Right.
longer now. But
Yep.
anyhow, I think it goes a bit longer, but anyhow.
Right.
So I think one of the biggest thing is for sure the day 90. Why? They 6 million. in there.
6 million. Yeah, it's a lot, right? It's not done yet either. So
It's not,
yeah,
but they 6 million. So if we are talking 20%, that's 1.2 million.
it's a good start.
I think it's a very good start, I have to say. I mean, if we can just go to app.titanx.win and check the buy and burn, hold on a second, buy and burn. Right now in the V2, we have, around 15 million. So if 20%, that's 1.2 million basically coming on top of buy and burn V3. Right? So
Nice.
that's gonna be definitely interesting. And then, I mean, if this goes on, right, we have also the day 369. I mean, there is currently 6 million right there, and this is going to be growing depending on how many miners going to be started. So, uh, just on the long term perspective, if you're participating in DragonX, all these will also be, it will be bought in the future, right?
Yeah, that's right. And all the 90 days leading up to that 369, and all the 8 days, and all the 28 days.
Yeah, all the days are coming up, but I mean, you can just
Yep.
go here to the payouts, and I mean, these are definitely there for sure, 100%. So that's like 5.9
Yeah.
million, and then we have 2.6 million on the 888-day payout. But
Yeah, that
pretty much,
369 is going to be a lot bigger by the time that comes around too.
absolutely. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
right now 5.9 million, and that 5.9 million on the 90-day, it's literally some. I mean, it's pretty much this week, isn't it? Anyhow,
Yep. It's 6 days away or something like that, right? Day 90. Payout is day 90. What day is it right now?
yeah,
If you scroll up
I think.
on the DApp,
I'm,
it'll show you what day it is right now. If you go back,
oh yeah. So day 80.
it's day 80 right now.
Yeah, day 80 right now. I mean, if we just go,
10
I
days.
mean, here this is on my sheet as well. I think this is much more clear now because we are on day 80, and today is a payout day. So the launch is going to be on the 18th. So that's right before the 28-day payout. And then we have 8-day payout, 90-day payout. That's the big one, which well, there's, I think, what was it, 6 million or something in there. And then all these other payouts. I mean, there's also on day 112 a double payout, the 8-day and 28-day payout.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And well, all these payouts definitely going to be, DragonX is going to be scooping all the ETH basically. And so we have the new buy and burn V3, it seems.
It's funny. Pesh says, "Ouch! There goes the 369 hit payout."
So maybe can you address this a little bit, because it seems like people are a bit on the fence regarding DragonX, because like, well, you're taking their payouts.
Yeah. Hey, Pesh, I have an idea. Maybe you should buy some TitanX. Maybe you'll get some of that payout through buy and burn if you do that. Think about it. We're here for TitanX. We're not here for ETH dividends, right? We're here to take TitanX to 1,000x, to 10,000x, which we actually have the chance of doing with this. So that's the goal, right? Never mind the fact that these buys could greatly push up miner profitability. What does that mean? More miners. It might just be that this system, and I obviously do not have a crystal ball, right? But it might be that this system simply pulls everything up, and we get more rewards for everyone because miner ROI just is held at a higher level. So you have to consider that. You have to consider the second order effects of directing all these funds toward TitanX, and you have to consider that this actually may be a net positive if it keeps miner ROI high.
Got you.
And I think that's the point. That's the point that Jake is actually making in the DragonX chat itself when he says, what did he say? The exact comment. You actually have it in your
I have it. I think
Make that, yeah.
we can address that when we come to that section. I think
Yeah.
yeah. So probably Pesh is also saying, is TitanX getting market bought when ETH payouts from DragonX?
Is TitanX getting market bought when ETH
When
payouts? Yeah. Yes. Well, I think what he's asking is TitanX going to be market bought when the ETH payouts go to buy and burn DragonX? The answer is yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think we mentioned that earlier, but I think one thing I would like to do as well, probably in the upcoming days, depending how much time I have, I'm gonna make just an explain video of DragonX, and I think this will be much more clear. And so now one thing I would like to go is yeah. Oh, by the way, I found a little a little a little meme, and I thought it was pretty funny. But once off, you say only for first 7 days. So this changed. It's 14 days, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Great
Okay.
meme. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, we need more memes. We need more memes in DragonX chat, please.
I
I
think
love
so too.
memes.
Yeah, memes are great, man. By the way, this is from X Factor 369. So shout out to you, man. I told him that I'm gonna steal it, but I'm gonna give
Nice.
him credit.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
You're very professional to give him credit like that.
I mean, we have to. I think it's important, at least, because I laughed, and well, he made some value in my life,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to the third section now. This is a bit more, yeah, probably a bit more serious stuff regarding security, smart contracts, risk, and so on. So probably one of the questions, I think you mentioned this already a fair bit. It's regarding audits. How many audits have you done, and what auditors are you using?
Yeah, so we've done 2 audits. We have the TitanX auditor. He's done auditing. And now the Hacken auditors are going at it. And while that's happening, we have the second TitanX auditor, and he is searching for vulnerabilities. So we technically, I mean, I would say, let's say we have 2 audits, but we also have this guy who's very familiar with the TitanX code, and he's basically doing PPV right now, pay per vulnerability.
Okay, so PPV, that's pay per vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
Pay per for okay. I'm just gonna leave at PPV. That's fine. So 2 professional audits. One is by the TitanX auditor, and then the other one was the other firm. Is that correct?
Sorry. The other firm is Hacken. Yes, there are 2 TitanX auditors and Hacken.
Okay. Hacking. Okay. How do you write hacking? Like, I mean, I think you can
HACKEN.
HACKEN. Hacken.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah. So, prop guys, if you guys, you can check out Hacken and the 2 TitanX auditors. Do you happen to know their names? I think people will be interested.
I do know their names, but I'm not sure if we're sharing them right now. I don't know.
Okay. I think Jake. No worries. Jake had tweeted them anyway already, like 3 other auditors. I can look up the tweet and probably just tweet it out later regarding that. So
Okay.
I think the audit is very clear. It seems like there's 2 TitanX auditors, and then the firm itself, which is Hacken. And probably let's go to more on the legal concerns. What are the legal concerns you have here with this audit potentially?
Legal concerns. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, regarding, I mean, a lot of things like in the smart contract, a lot of people, especially in the US, also are afraid of the SEC and stuff like that. Do we have anything here regarding that?
We're not raising money. It's all being put into a contract. We're just independent developers who are building a system that the community is running. So we're not like a security. I mean, if we just, like, to give you an idea, if we just turn the cap to full, we could all get hit by a bus. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, the cap is the only thing that's really changing. There are a couple of, it's not even an admin key. Like, there's no way you can stop the system. It's only more of a management key where we can tweak, Genesis can tweak the cap. Okay. Or Genesis cannot tweak the cap, and then you just get green candles. Like, it's not a big deal. The other thing Genesis can do is it can change where the rewards go. Like, if the Genesis address gets hacked, or if the address where the Genesis rewards are received gets hacked, then that can be changed, right? So there are a few things Genesis can do, but it doesn't really impact the functioning of the system. So you're not giving money to a team for them to do something for you. Like, you're interacting with a code that we're going to deploy. You can interact with it. You cannot interact with it. The contract gives out tokens to incentivize a starting pool, like for TitanX. I think Jake's talked about this. Like, we're not doing an ICO. We're not doing a fundraise. There's no roadmap. Like, DragonX launch is complete. If people want to build on top of it, cool. If we build on top of it, cool. Like, it's not really a security at all. It's and you use the code at your own risk. Like, it's software that could be hacked. TitanX could be hacked. Ethereum could go down. Like, you're taking your own risk. It's a community project, and if you can't handle that, then don't interact with DragonX. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think that's very clear. I mean, one of the things which I like to do for sure in this channel is I want to highlight all the risks, and then you come with your own conclusion if this is something you want to participate in. And if you don't want to, then just don't participate. And I think that's the best case scenario is you have to take that risk, or you have to see if this risk is worth it and come to participate.
Yep. Yeah, it's freely deployed software, guys. We're an independent team, and we are deploying the software. It's freely deployed. Like, use it or don't.
Fantastic. I mean, I think you touched this already regarding the admin keys, and probably if you can just summarize it a little bit more for the people out there. So as far as I understood, there is admin keys, and could you summarize the functionalities of those admin keys?
Yeah, so again, I wouldn't call it an admin key. Like, we can't stop the system. But what Genesis can do is transfer the key ownership. It can set the buy and burn cap. It can set the interval. We can set the time-weighted average price that we'll accept for the buy and burn, which helps us prevent front running and slippage issues. That's pretty much it. And the same goes for the DragonX Buy and Burn. That's like all the Genesis can do. Genesis can't touch the stakes. No funds can be withdrawn. Whatever goes in is in there. Like, there's no way of recovering it. So keep that in mind.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's very clear, guys. If you have any questions regarding that, you can drop them in there. But I think that was clearly summarized. If I make another video, I'm just gonna take some of the things you've said and then just put them in here so that you have it a bit more clear. So now let's go a bit to the FUD part. And I'm just going to address some of the few things here and what people are saying, basically. So probably to start off with anything with this would be what I've been hearing on Twitter, probably on Telegram as well. Some people are saying, well, the stakers will be diluted. DragonX is stealing from the stakers. And actually, this kind of FUD was also addressed by Jake himself in the Telegram group. And I'm just going to read the first sentence and then you can just take it from there. And Jake had said, anyone saying this is stealing from stakers doesn't understand second order consequences. Erik, take it from here.
That's perfectly stated, guys. You have to understand in crypto, you have to be willing to understand the game theory around it. You have to be willing to understand tokenomics. You have to understand, like, Jake just perfectly summarized it here. You have to understand that Jake is tracking these numbers. Like, only 10% of the Ethereum that people are getting is going back into TitanX. Why would you want that? And imagine what the TitanX price could be if more Ethereum was going to buy TitanX. Like, we're here for TitanX. We're not here for Ethereum. And we're not here to give the Ethereum. I mean, miners have committed that Ethereum to the system. Why shouldn't we be keeping it in the system? It doesn't make any sense to me. And the other thing is, yeah, see, let's have a look here. What did Jake say? Oh,
I mean,
exactly. Yes. The other point is maybe you won't even get diluted. Like, we haven't run the experiment, so we don't know, but maybe you won't even get diluted, guys. Maybe all of the buying and burning from this new buy and burn, this new DragonX buy and burn, will actually cause the TitanX miner profitability to go up, cause more miners to come in, and the entire pie just gets bigger. Like, that's actually a legitimate possibility. So I think you need to consider that before you thought about staker dilution. I think Jake got it immediately. Basically, like the idea is not detrimental to TitanX whatsoever. It's lock and key with TitanX. It solves a big problem, which is the Ethereum's leaking out. It's hurting the price.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I think I think it's quite clear what you guys have said, and I also read what Jake has said. And as you just said yourself, I mean, the base case scenario would be really that the profitability of miners gets so high in some ways, or new miners started, so a pile of new ETH comes in, and you will not be diluted in some ways. Well, I mean, obviously a percentage of that will always go to DragonX smart contract, but probably just the amount you're going to be getting will be very similar. Will be the best case scenario. So let's go now to the next point, which is the 8% here. And let me just go through this. And this is what a lot of people are also saying. So I want you to have a chance here to talk about this as well. So the 8% of TitanX, which is during the launch phase, when you send the user sends the TitanX, and that TitanX will be used to create the stakes. 8% of that goes to the Genesis address, and then
Yep.
and then I'm just going to read all of them first, and then you can just have a chance. And then 8% of the created DragonX goes to the Genesis address. This is also just during the launch phase. And then the last 8% is the claimed ETH in the payout cycles also goes to the Genesis wallet. So some few people are saying, well, this is a bit too high, and why 8%? Why is it not lower, and stuff like that? What would you say to those people?
Well, first off, 8% of the TitanX is the same reward that any protocol developer would get, right? The 8% of the DragonX, well, those aren't your coins. They're minted by the contract. So I don't know why you'd be worried about that, because they're not your coins. And I think you don't want a protocol where the Genesis address and deployer, where they don't have a stake in their own token. So there's that. In terms of claimed ETH, think of it this way, guys. And you can ask people who really know about building projects like this. The amount of time, the amount of effort we've put in over the past few weeks has been monumental. We don't stop working. We have been working nonstop. There's been a lot of stress. I'm putting my face out here for the first time. It's been numerous audits, working on weekends, working over Christmas, working over New Year's. We haven't stopped, because we know that the sooner we can get the share rate, sooner we can get stakes at high share rates, the better, right? If you launch another protocol now, you can't compete with DragonX. We haven't launched it, but if you launch after us, you can't compete with us. So that's a huge advantage we have. And in order to obtain that advantage, you need a team that is extremely tight-knit, has done this before, has all the connections they need right away, and at the snap of their fingers can start a project. If you try to do this yourself and achieve what we've achieved in these short few weeks, you would probably need $250,000 to do it or more, because you have to pay all these people who are super dedicated and have super strong talents. So I think that this is one thing that I've been saying is, like, we are not Zen. We are not Hex, where we give everything to Richard and pray. And we are not Zen, where we give nobody anything and we inflate each other to oblivion. I'm sorry if you're a Zen guy. Like, it's obviously not everything. I'm being a bit flippant, but you get the idea. Like, we're not expecting work from others. The work comes from within the community. To do that, you need to incentivize people, guys. Like this is economics, and it's in the white paper that developers should be properly incentivized to build things. It's one of the core competitive advantages of TitanX over other protocols, is the fact that you can get a team to pivot on a dime and just go and build something this complex and this important to TitanX in such a short period of time. This is a huge advantage, guys. Don't underestimate that.
Yeah. So Erik, I think that's pretty much very clear what you're saying there, and I just want to probably repeat regarding what you just said, and that is regarding how the builder are incentivized here. I think you just mentioned the two extreme. The one extreme is give money to somebody and expect or don't expect anything, and you might get or not get your tokens. And the other extreme end is probably a bit more on the Zen side, where I mean, you said it best, I think. And TitanX is trying to do something a bit different, which is that I think you mentioned this earlier as well, is like this is just straightforward, very transparent. There's no pre-allocations, there's no backdoor deals or anything, and it's just very straightforward how things get built. So I think you mentioned here, we believe in capitalism and meritocracy. We don't believe in people adding value to the ecosystem and not get handsomely rewarded for it.
Guys, read that again. Read that again. I'm telling you, if you think that, you need to understand that this is one of the best things about TitanX, and it's not a drawback at all. At all. And I also want to address the idea that I'm like some mercenary who's come in to extract from the TitanX community. Guys, as I said in my other video, like I've known Jake for over a year. I was in the mastermind while they were crafting TitanX. Okay, I was early in Hex, and I didn't participate too much in Zen. But what I'm trying to say is, like, if you think that devs shouldn't be handsomely rewarded, maybe you're importing your ideology from a different community. Have you considered that? Because it's in the white paper that devs should be handsomely rewarded. Excuse me. So just think about that, guys.
Yeah, I think that's very clear. Erik, we are almost 1 hour 22 minutes. I'm gonna go through some of the questions here. So I'm not sure, how tired are you up to now?
I'm good.
You're good?
Hit me.
All
Yeah.
right, no worries. So I mean, I'm just gonna let this thing here, the outro here, end before we just finish it off. I'm gonna go through some of the questions here, and guys, don't forget the DragonX team. I have here their Twitter. It's Team DragonX 888, and also on Telegram is DragonX Win. So I have the QR code here as well. So if you want to join them and potentially ask more questions and stuff like that, you can definitely go ahead with it. But we're going to go through some of your questions out here. And by the way, I have maybe mentioned this. Shout out to Enancio. This guy has been giving me, I think this is the second time with the super chat, man. Shout out to you, man. Good stuff. Thanks, Mike and Erik. Spank that like, folks. Absolutely. I'm with you, buddy. So let me just go through some of the questions here, right?
Yeah, and by the way, I want to address some of this FUD, because
Yes, go ahead.
Some of these comments, I'm actually noticing a few names here of people who are just basically consistently flooding DragonX, like it's their job. Guys, read the white paper. Okay, if you want elite talent building on your protocol, then you should be okay with them being rewarded. Like, it's not a problem. It's good. It's good. I'm not saying I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart, by the way. I'm doing this because I want TitanX to go up a lot, and I want to be rewarded to bring millions of dollars into TitanX. Like, I want to pump our price, and I want our team to be rewarded for it. Okay. If you don't agree with DragonX, guys, don't participate. I urge you to build a competing platform. I dare you to try, because I can tell you right now that we have been in close communication with Jake. Thank you, Franklin. Thank you. Yeah, like we have been in close communication with Jake, and I'm telling you, he's very impressed. Okay. So if you think you can pull together a team that can operate like we can operate, I absolutely invite you to do that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think. Is there some more questions here? So I think here we have from just wait till we have multiple projects live on top of TitanX. To be honest, most of us are looking at DragonX and everything quite simplistically. The strength weaknesses will be balanced in due time. Absolutely. I mean, one of the things which I would like to say as well, it's all these projects are competing with each other in some ways, right? Whether you want it or not, regarding all the miners which are going to become liquid in the next upcoming days, just for the fact of that, I'm going to pull up my Dune dashboard so that we can go and see exactly how much is coming out. So if we just look at the minted supply, the highest we had so far was day 72 with 1.09 trillion. So that's day 72. And today we are on day 80. And yeah, day 80. And if everybody mints their token today, we're going to have a record actually today. And that's going to be 1.59 trillion, pretty much.
Yep.
So this the record which was set here at day 72 is going to be broken today, by the way. So not only that, 3 days later at day 80, this day 83, day 83, we are going to break another record, which is a new supply, and that's going to be 2.78, so 2.78 trillion, which is going to be coming out. So all these the next 14 days or so are well, yeah, as you can see, there's going to be a lot of future supply is going to be coming, and one of the things which DragonX is going to do is going to take a bit of pressure off this, basically, because, well, eh, like there's only two or three options right now, right? What the first option is staking, right? The second option is you selling just on the Uniswap, and that's gonna push down the price. And then the third option is just you holding. Basically, you can just hold your tokens. But now with DragonX is the fourth options. So I think a percentage of people are definitely going to be participating in DragonX, I suppose, and that's definitely going to help this future supply here. I think I've had like a 2-minute monologue here. Erik, sorry man, go ahead. Do you have anything to say regarding the future supply for the next 14 days?
Well, I can say that this is one of the reasons why we extended the launch phase. Because we were talking to people and they said that we should extend it because there's so much supply coming out, right? And this is a way that we can capture more of it. 80 days captures the vast majority of the big supply spike coming out. That's why we did that.
Okay. Well, that's definitely interesting because 80 days, that will definitely mean so. Yeah, I mean yeah. So I mean the biggest chunk, as we can see, is probably around here. So all this will somewhat be taken away, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's definitely interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, but we're not gonna hit this 280-day supply here, right? We're still gonna experience that one.
Yeah.
Are you gonna build a new token to get this supply here?
We'll do what we have to do. Do what we have to do to get that TitanX off market.
No worries, man. No worries. Okay. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. So Erik, do you have anything else to say? I think we went pretty much through everything. Maybe I forgot something. I've pretty much incorporated all the questions you guys have sent me. So, and if I forgot something, just jump on Telegram and ask the questions. I hope Erik will have a bit more time after the launch to be more on Twitter because people are waiting for you, man. They are always like, "Hey, man, what's wrong with DragonX, man?" They're not on Twitter. They're
What's
working
wrong with
hard,
that?
guys. Go ahead.
100%. We are working hard.
Yeah. So one of the things which I also heard is definitely when you guys a bit more probably on Twitter and making. I mean, I saw some few tweets today. I was actually surprised. I was like, oh, Dragon's team is making some tweets. So it seems like you guys are waiting from the audits, or what's the deal there? You have more time on your hand now.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? How when Richard was finishing Pulse Chain, he started to tweet a lot, right? When it
Yeah.
was finally over, all his tweets started to come out. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it's kind of similar with us. Like we're over the hump, you know. We're over the hump, and I've already shared the UI with you guys, and you can see where we kind of have landed. And so, yeah, we're in the finalization stage. So yeah, there's more time for Twitter.
All right, all right, Erik. I don't want to drag this for too long. I think an hour and a half is more than enough. Thank you guys for all being here. This has been absolutely amazing. I think Erik, for your first interview, how do you feel right now? Just before we finish this off.
I feel good. I don't know enough about Mike Dean right now. We didn't get into the Mike Dean backstory.
That one is for another interview, guys.
Yes.
We're gonna get into that.
Tell you what, man. After we've launched, let's follow up and do another one, and we can hang out and it'll be more informal and chat about everything.
Absolutely, man. We can definitely do that.
That'd be great.
Guys, I think we are around 250, 248 people. I think maybe at max 270. So that's absolutely amazing. Thank you all very much. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, and spank that YouTube algorithm. Thank you very much. Have a good one. So